Chapter 9, A New National Identity by Sam, Micah, Jacob, and Katie. The War of 1812 ended, yet there were still problems between the U.S. and British Canada. The Americans and the Canadians compromised and made the Rush-Bagot Agreement. This limited the naval power on the Great Lakes. In 1819, Spain and Florida signed the Adams-Onis Treaty. Mexico broke free from Spain in 1821. This worried President Monroe. The United States had just made some successful negotiations and were enjoying a rising sense of nationalism. Henry Clay, a U.S. representative, developed a plan called the American System, which was intended to make the United States economically self-sufficient. Clay wanted money to improve the nation's roads. The Cumberland Road was the first road built by the federal government. The road ran from Cumberland, Maryland to Wheeling, a town on the Ohio River in present-day West Virginia. By 1818, the road reached Wheeling. By 1850, it reached all the way to Illinois. During the same time, Americans tried to make water transportation easier by constructing canals. A project was designed that would later be one of the largest canals, the Erie Canal. Later construction of the canal began in 1817 and ended in 1825. The era of good feelings began for the United States in 1815. Even though the era of good feelings was a time of peace, pride, and progress, disagreements arose between regions known as sectionalism, endangered the Union. One disagreement involved Missouri, when they tried to enter the Union as a slave state. Eventually, the Missouri Compromise was settled to allow Missouri to enter the Union as a slave state, and Maine to enter as a free state. Until the 1800s, Americans took most of their culture ideas from Great Britain and Europe until politics and the economy in America developed. The history of America inspired artists to create their own style of art. One of the first American writers to achieve national fame was Washington Irving. Probably the best-known writer was James Fenimore Cooper. They both inspired many artists. The art of painting landscapes became popular among many artists. In 1830, the Hudson River School emerged. Many of the paintings created their own of the Hudson River Valley. Through the early 1800s, several waves of religious revivalism swept the United States. During periods of revivalism, meetings were held for the purpose of reawakening religious faith. At meetings, people sang songs of spirituals. A leader would yell out the lyrics to a familiar tune, and then a person would sing. American creativity even extended into the manner in which people designed buildings and homes. As time went by, more architects followed Thomas Jefferson's idea of architecture. Soon, growing cities had distinctive structures. Educational progress was also encouraged. The problem was there was no general agreement on who should provide the education. Eventually, the idea of state-funded education arose. In 1837, Massachusetts created a board of education that began to help many schools grow.